Stream's working. Stream's working.
Stream's working.
There it is. Stream's working. I see
it's working like we're live.
We're live-ish. It's appearing.
Live and recording?
Yeah. I mean, it's live and streaming.
Then welcome to Book Club for Movies, everybody, for the week of, I guess, still January 10th, right? Same week. Two things in a week. Look at us.
We are able to do it. Look at us. We've said before we can do multiple things, and here's our proof. Boom shakalaka.
I'm Ryan Miller, and that is Mr. Television Volleyball himself, Matt Amberg. How are you tonight, Matt?
I'm great, man. I spent probably too much time working on the ridiculousness that is this. I'm real happy with how it came out. I hope all of our viewers end up loving it as well.
I'm not going to say you spent too much time at all. It looks fantastic. You've been sending me pictures along the way, and I've just been blown away. You've found your calling. I'm glad I could be here for it.
Yes, this is my calling. Good graver. Mine goat.
So I guess I should get out in front of a few things here before we talk about too many things that will not show up for anybody listening to this.
You better get out in front of them and right now do it.
So this is live. That's, again, not news to anybody that's here right now.
But watch out for swears.
But yes, also that if you're here right now, if right now is right now.
Right now is...
Skipping this baseball's joke. It's going to be unfiltered.
now.
Be great. But it's going to be messy. Like television volleyball isn't a new thing. And that's where we go back and forth on the TV shows that we've been watching, at least in the last 4 months or so.
In an unruly fashion. There are rules, but there are no rules.
It's always been a debacle. Well, live, it's probably not going to be any better. But
yes,
if you want to steer away from any of the more objectionable content, which I don't even know what it's going to be. Nobody knows.
Swears.
Myself, I like all ages venues. I like to take my kids to concerts.
Yeah, no, you're that guy. You are not fun.
I am all ages venue guy. So if that's more your speed, stay tuned for what will be the podcast version of this, where I will go through and make it a little bit more family friendly. So
yeah,
if you're into that, just wait, and it'll be out within the next day or so, I'll say.
How many F-bombs? How many? It's almost a challenge now, right? Because I'm like, well, I can play nice, and be a normal human, or I can make this just the worst editing of your life. Let me ask you a question, Ryan.
Hold on.
Do you want to play a game? Whoever wins television Yes, it is. I did. Absolutely.
Okay. So the only other thing I want to mention is that since it is live, that will affect the quality, not even just the audio quality, but also the quality.
Yeah.
So just keep all of that in mind, and you might get through this just like us.
I don't.
That's it. That's all I had up front. That's all. I'll shut up now.
Well, if you've got the front, I guess I'm getting the back, as always.
Okay.
Butt joke.
So, thank you, Matt, for everything you've done for this stream. To describe it to the podcast people, we're in the 70s by way of TVs and graphics and movies.
There's quite a few 70s movies in there. I mean, well, maybe not quite a few, but there's a few.
Of these too. Yeah, you've got a graphic up on the screen, and it looks Ace in the Hole. We've done that, assuming that hasn't been remade, and I don't know about it. Scanners, we did. I haven't done Repo Man somehow.
Yeah, we've talked about that one though. It's one of my
favorites. Yeah, we have.
There's Sorcerers in there too.
Hey, that was going to be a show for a good long while.
Yeah, it still will be eventually. Okay. There will be times. Okay. It'll happen.
So, not to throw anybody off though, those are all movies.
Yes,
we're going to be talking about televisions.
Yeah, this is Book Club for Movies, where we talk about TV.
Yeah, we do it sometimes. It seems like every 4 months or so, and
it's a weird quarterly thing. I don't understand how we ended up because it happened organically too. Where it was just, okay, I guess it's time to talk about TV.
I mean, yeah, we probably did it during Zero Hit Points just because we do that. But this was,
yes.
I don't cop to many ideas when it comes to this, but TVVB, I think I did pitch to you at one point, was like, hey, what if we did this? And you were like,
it was,
okay. Oh, I froze.
It was 100% your idea and definitely your naming convention. And I love it. I'm a fan. I don't get it, but I love it.
It's great. We love sports
it's good.
here. Which, speaking of TV, now having watched Scrubs, I have kind of an exemplar in Zach Braff's character when it comes to sports and things that I like. I've always been that sports ball man.
So the funny thing is, because I still listen to them. I haven't finished their podcast yet, so I'm still listening to it. And he is definitely that guy in real life. Great. He barely understands. Like he is absolutely JD in that respect, 100%. It's pretty funny.
Fantastic. I mean, I've always been a big believer in, that's why some of these characters that we see on TV and movies are so enduring, is because sometimes they fit the actors a little bit better than other things. And then some actors have an incredible amount of range. But then that sounds like I'm insulting the people that do such a good job for actors. Let's maybe get into the bulk of this thing. It has been 4 months.
Bulky-ish.
And I know you've got to have more shows. I feel like you always have more shows, but man,
I got a ton of stuff right now.
Oh yeah, I kind of had a feeling. I don't have that many. It's weird. I think I had some like 4 months ago when we did the last television volleyball that I left off because I hadn't finished or I hadn't, formulated any thoughts. So now I'm in this weird position of having some stuff that I finished watching like 4 months ago to talk about, and some stuff that I blasted through today. I've watched 4 episodes of 2 different series, just so I could finish them and talk about them.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
Okay. Maybe spend some time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, man. You spend time with your kids. You're just watching TV and movies.
You were doing all the streaming stuff, so I was like, yeah, let's watch some TV. No,
that's true. I was doing work for once.
Oh well, if there's a way to stop that, I would. I don't know if I can help or.
There is. You could have done all this, but I ended up doing it.
Oh, no.
To be fair,
you on the line. This is amazing. I don't want to take away from this at all.
To be fair, you offered to help, so.
I probably did. That's true. In fact, I thought at one point I thought I was going to stream. I thought I was going to host it, but it literally would have just looked like a Discord chat. It wouldn't have looked like any of this gloriousness on the screen right now. No, I wouldn't be inside a TV from the.
Oh, this is definitely a 60s, 70s. 60? Could be 80s. I think it's probably
a little older than mine. We're in.
Yeah, if you want a different TV, I can find one.
No, let's stick with what we got. I do love when I freeze, though. I'm going to try to always have an expression that's worth viewing upon freezing, if that's possible.
I'm sorry. It is likely my computer, and it's probably due to the fact that I don't have quite enough memory in here. I've actually closed a bunch of stuff hoping to avoid that. So
Speaking of not quite enough memory.
By the next time, I'll get there.
Do you remember? I'm going to start. Do you remember
the
TV
time
show that you talked about last time called What If?
I am so glad you brought that up because that's on my list also.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you were done with it last time.
I was.
Oh, but you weren't done with it.
I'm not.
Okay. Hey, great. I don't feel so bad for this one then.
Do not feel bad. I have never felt bad in my life.
Oh, and I guess, do we need to lay the ground rules like we kind of did for television volleyball? There's a strategy per se. We mention shows at different times for different reasons to try and throw each other off because that's how you win the game of television volleyball. So I've stolen the lead. It's a tactic that both of us have used from time to time. So we'll see how it pays off. But
yeah, I don't like it.
Show that you've already seen and have had on your list. So this is wild already.
Yeah, I don't like it. This is you're coming in hot on me, and you're 2.0ing me. You don't get the reference, but I could tell you right now, you're coming to me and you're saying you want to get a taste, and I don't want a taste.
Is it a wrestling reference?
Yeah, sure is.
See, I'm getting better.
Yeah, they're funny guys. Montreal.
All right. So let's see if I can correctly remember how you felt about What If last time we talked.
What if you do?
Eh.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be better. At times, actively disliked. I don't know where you landed overall, let's say, though, actually.
I think it was a combination of things where I truly do just feel meh about it. It's whatever. Like, I I remember my biggest, I think, complaint about it might have been the weirdness in who did voices and who didn't. Like you couldn't get everybody that played their roles to do it. Then don't use the. I don't know. It was.
Call me crazy too. It also seemed like some episodes they did have the real voice actor, and other episodes they didn't. I don't know if that's right, but it did seem
like for the same character.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember.
I don't know. There's something about also it's a different environment, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I've heard the same people once they get into a voice acting studio not sound quite like they do on set or something.
Sure.
Like that's neither here nor there. I think for me, all of that was fine and doable. It certainly wasn't anything that took me out of the series. I will say I think I'm more up on it than you were.
Probably.
And I don't know if I don't remember you having these issues, but I will say I think overall my issue was with the pacing of that show. It is so quick, and they're shorter episodes, so I guess that makes sense. But it only makes sense if you're like, we're only going to do this much, and then the other guy's like, okay, I'll still fit it in. It doesn't. It moves so fast,
Sure.
And oftentimes it's so flippant, like and comedic, and like there's one episode, the Thor episode, What If Thor Were an Only Child, that is literally a Ferris Bueller, so it's supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and it works, but there are other episodes that I feel like are supposed to be pretty dour or serious, and not only are the jokes not amazing, but they come, since it's so fast, they come right next to like serious beats that I feel like you're supposed to be invested in. And I'm like, how am I like I had another example of that it was Spider-Man. I think it might be the zombies episode, actually. Yeah. Peter has a speech about staying positive. You didn't like that zombies one at all?
No.
Oh man, that's a bummer. That one was like supposed to be yours, right?
I think part of it was I just didn't like the animation for it. I didn't really, What If was a cool story, was a cool line of comics. And I love the idea. What If is very fun. I just didn't feel like these were what ifs that were fun. They were, for the most part, like, I don't know. I just wasn't into the overall thing. And then I admittedly kind of hate that there was that the Watcher could see everything, and then the Watcher can be seen by Uber Ultron. Like, that was just.
Wow, this is fun because I'm not only more up on it, I think I'm on the complete opposite side.
I don't like it. Not fun. Not fun for me.
Even though I said I was more up on it, and then I feel like I went into the negatives right away. I do like the art style. I think it's CGI. It's not. I think once I got over the kind of flat or 3D, it's like watching Borderlands or
yeah, it is. It's watching a video game. It is very much
the very 3D 2D thing.
Yeah.
Once I got over that, like I'm totally fine with it too. Very impressed with some of those visuals and how good it looks. It is very refined, so it's kind of like I feel like it's made. It does look like it's an engine. Like look at this engine we made. Now we're going to do the animations within the engine, and the engine itself is going to create some very beautiful looking things. It looks very much like that, but I like it. Like I think it came off pretty gorgeous in a lot of different spots.
All right.
Already done. No, I had one more positive.
It's not my favorite. Not my favorite. But okay. What's your positive?
It's just on your list. What else did you have? What else were you going to bring up about it?
Oh,
Do I?
I don't know. Do you? I don't know. I don't know. It just was I don't have anything. I got nothing. I've got nothing.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So That's
the thing.
Why I say I'm on the complete opposite side is because like I wasn't over the moon about the whole thing. I think for the most part that pacing is an issue. It's so quick, it becomes flip in a way. What if becomes whatever.
Oh, who came up with that one? Burned to the
when
ground,
it gets to
baby.
the part where the Watcher does, and I saw the episode title for the last one that was like, what if the Watcher intervened or whatever. So I was like, I kind of knew something was coming, but I didn't know. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of one-offs. And then by the end, when, yes, it's the what if Ultron won, and he has all the Infinity Stones, and basically the Watcher exists kind of outside, typically that, but then Infinity Ultron does feel him watching and is able to locate him.
Yeah.
Like, I loved all that stuff. Like, I was way into that. In fact, they have in the second to last episode, they have like a knockdown drag out where like every punch is a new universe, and it's like punching themselves through shattered dimensions and stuff like that. I was way into that, man. That was super cool.
That's fine. I
think then they try to end that series. They try to come up with the Infinity Gauntlet is always an issue, man. Like Infinity War and Endgame, I feel like nailed it by way of miracle. Like I'm still amazed in a way that I wasn't less happy with.
Yeah, it's lunacy that happened. In any meaningful way, and the fact that it got to what it was, like crazy shit.
Yeah. So I shouldn't be
S-word.
Amazed that
you're gonna have to edit that.
Okay, done. I shouldn't be amazed that What If couldn't figure it out as well. Like there's a protection spell that Strange gives everybody that goes a long way, which I kind of wish was in the movie, because there's a lot of times where they play fast and loose with the powers where somebody gets in a fist fight and I'm like, well, unless person A was pulling their punches, person B, who has zero powers at all, should really be dead right now.
Right? Yes.
The protection spell went a long way as far as that goes, but I think when it comes to omnipotence and their solution for that, it's maybe a little less satisfactory than others, I would say. But overall, I liked What If and would recommend it. So I don't know what volley that is.
I wouldn't not recommend it. I guess I just didn't do anything for me. That's all. And I don't. Yeah, like I don't. I guess maybe I would have liked it more if they had used other characters too, like characters that were not characters we know, like that are not major movie characters. Like bring in some more. Like introduce somebody, that's interesting. That's like hasn't been, like I honestly, Robert Downey Jr. was great. I don't need to see Iron Man like ever again. We're gonna feel Stark for the rest of the MCU. It'll never go away. Stark is going to be there for freaking ever. But I never need to see him again. You know what I mean? Like his story's done, his story's told. I didn't need a what if with Stark in it. Didn't need that.
It's funny because I agree. Like I always like the deep cuts when they happen, for any of these.
Sure.
But also I love that we're even in this spot where they can release a TV series like this.
Also
because it depends on all of the other stuff that's come before it, like 1 zillion%. Like this doesn't exist without all the movies that came before it. So I do like that we're in a spot where they can release this show that's like, hey, you know what? Like I guess that's a dual-edged sword all on its own. Like
it always is.
We don't need to do any of the groundwork because we've saturated the world with all this stuff. So here's more.
Congratulations, you've done it.
Whatever. What if?
TV show. What if
we moved on to your TV show?
What if we did? I'm gonna throw this one at you. The weirdest show I've ever watched in my life, called Dream Corp LLC.
I'm disappointed I can't talk with you about this one.
So I'm a little disappointed too, because each episode is only like 12 minutes long. Like they're
I haven't found the time.
Yeah,
no,
it's 3 seasons. It's like 4 hours in toto. But it's like it's either the weirdest and dumbest show I've ever seen, or the weirdest and like most poignant show I've ever come across in my life. It's got John Grease in it, who everybody remembers probably best from either Napoleon Dynamite, or for me anyway, it's always going to be Real Genius. He was Laszlo Holyfeld, man. And, you know, he also becomes a werewolf in Monster Squad. So
I'm sure I'd recognize him.
you would. John Grease, you remember him from Napoleon. He's the I'm gonna throw the football over a mountain. He's the Uncle Rico.
Oh, Uncle Rico, yeah.
Uncle Rico. Yeah, so he's the like the proprietor of this business that's called Dream Corp LLC, and people come in, and it's like they have like famous comedians come in, they have guest stars and stuff, and
as themselves, or
yeah. Well, no, as characters.
Okay.
But they're brought in and they're hooked up to a machine, and then we're taken to this weird like CGI dream world where crazy stuff happens to them, and it all has to do with, you know, their mental state and what they're trying to learn or get away from or beat, you know, if it's like smoking or whatever. And all of these things, like there are all these crazy ass like clear poignant lessons and things talked about throughout the show, and it's done in like the most obnoxious way. And also it does have Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows on the TV show. I can't remember what that dude's name is right now, but
he does have
Mark,
a name too.
Mark Proksch.
Mark Probst.
I think that's the guy from Survivor.
No, nobody knows. I got it right. You got it wrong. Keep going.
Okay, that sounds right. So it's streaming on Hulu. Again, each episode's like 15 minutes long, and it's super weird, super funny. If you intoxicate, it probably is even funnier. I don't know, but it's good.
One of those.
It's weird, man. It's totally bizarre. I can't. It's impossible to. You're essentially watching a person going through somebody else's dreams in a world it's like kind of our world, I guess, but it just seems just beaten and run down. And
are they detectives? Like, what's the end game?
No.
Like,
He's a doctor. He's like, people come to him they're like, I've got anxiety problems. I can't stop. I want to stop smoking. I want to, all these things.
More of a Total Recall, maybe.
Yeah, except it's not about the recall aspect or going to Mars, but yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Well, haven't you heard? Neither is Total Recall anymore.
Get your ass to Mars is all I know.
Watch that remake.
No,
not a television show. Doesn't count. Yeah,
I won't.
Yeah, Proksch.
I said that. I was right. My point. Your volley to you.
You're right. Dang it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I have another show that you've also... Actually, no, I know you've watched it, but we didn't mention it last time we did this, but I know you had watched it by then, and I wasn't finished with it yet. And it can go quick, but Lego Masters Season 2?
Yeah. Super fun.
It was fun.
That's all you can say about it. It's like I actively, though, for summer, because we set up the projector and the stuff outside. And it's one of those shows that I actually kind of just love watching in the middle of the week, relaxing out on my porch with a beer. It's just like, and going, dude, look at their Legos. How?
Yeah. It definitely still has that aspect to it, which was there with season 1. But I think it also delivers on the tasks. Like
totally.
Every time they came up with a new thing, especially in the stingers, like at the end, they're like, next week we're going to be doing this. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. That's perfect. Like why? Like I know the first season. I won't talk about how about that. This season they had the earthquake challenge. Perfect idea. Like
that was really fun.
That stands up to it. The fan, like just build something.
The fan was super cool. Like, yeah. Right? And the bridge one.
I remember the first season was the bridge one. Actually.
The bridge one was the first season. Yeah, that was was also cool. But the fan one, I was super into. My favorite part of this season too was finding out that I truly do not know anything. I mean, again, more proof that I know nothing about engineering, because when the wind one came up, there were a couple of them I was like, oh, that's going to last for a while. Boom, down. I'm like, well, shaz.
Yeah, and I think the one that went the longest, I was like, ooh, that's gone.
It looked like crap. And
yeah. Yep.
Loved it.
I've never been good at freestyle Legoing.
Yeah, it's like No.
Anyway,
I don't think
yeah.
3-dimensionally. I think in JPEG.
Yes. Also,
Pixelate.
I loved one of the teams on there. Like, this was even nerdier than last season, and it was either because they let this guy have all of his lines, or it was almost like somebody was feeding them to him. Like, they every time it turned to him, he would say something like, "It's time to lay some serious brick," or "I love puppeteering. That's my thing."
It's my thing.
And then I've been fencing since I was 18 years old, and then goes into a big thing. I actually own a reptile for 10 years, and I love her very much. I miss her. Like, and not in the like I also want to be on the side of the angels on this one. Like, I'm not making fun of anybody. It's good to see like my own kind up there. I think I'm just so delighted by these people and these contestants. And
the contestants
really positive shows,
unironically love all the people on that show up on. Actually, that's not true. There's usually one couple that's like insufferable, and they're just the worst. And you're like, this season actually not so much. I guess first season had 2 or 3. I feel like maybe 2.
This season, there wasn't anybody I was really. I don't know. I can't remember the contestants' names.
I honestly don't remember that. I don't remember the first couple people, but I remember at the end, I was like, whoever wins this is pretty cool. I remember really liking. I like the two women, the 2 moms that had they did some really cool stuff, like with their I got nothing. I can't think of words.
Their hat was pretty. I think they won that challenge, if I remember.
I think so. Don't. I don't know. I liked it. It was good.
It was good.
Lego Masters is fun.
Lego Masters is fun.
Yeah.
What else is fun?
Okay, so I'll bring something up to that I know you've seen that I just finally finished.
Okay.
After how many years? I finally completed. I'm caught up on Stranger Things.
Oh, dang it. I thought it was going to be Justified for a second, but
that's next.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm not even close to caught up yet, but I have been watching it. I'm very excited. Stranger Things. So
I mean,
I saw
1 and 2.
I saw 1, and I got a couple of episodes into 2, and it was just getting to, like, I don't know. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like the new characters. None of it hit for me. I was having a really hard time. And then it took a couple of episodes, and I got into it and really liked it at the end. Like when that finished up, outside of the L thing, I like the concept that they were going for with her going out and meeting people and then meeting somebody that's like her or has this, has the powers. But I just think that the execution on that was, in comparison to the rest of the show, it felt very out of place. Like it didn't feel like it took place even in the same time period. It felt like I was actually watching people that were kind of dressed up from the 80s, like they were from the 80s, but not from the 80s.
Yeah, no, that's where my daughter got her Halloween outfit from this year, if that's any indication of the level. And it's weird. I've recently watched them too. I thought that whole part with her with the other group lasted for most of the season. It's like an episode?
It's like 2 episodes, yeah.
It does go very, yes.
But agreed. That episode felt long. Oh boy, did it feel long. But I liked all of the character growth for the main characters that were there was great. Sean Astin was great. R.I.P. to Bob there at the end.
Bob.
Loved Bob. Actually, real big fan of Paul Reiser in the show too. He's always also fun. And season 3, man, every level that hit for me. Loved it.
Nice.
The entire Steve and Dustin, awesome. Love those two together having all that time. I loved the Russian subplot. To me, that was pitch perfect proof. Pitch perfect proof that the creators of this show were familiar with, grew up and love 80s movies, because
Yeah.
who was always the bad guy in the 80s? It was always the Russians, always. And I love it. It fits. And then Alexei was super cool. That the character that
The guy they captured for a while.
yeah.
Yep.
Love that. That was I was so bummed out. I was like, no, come on. But yeah, totally dug it. I actually, while I still don't really like Billy and
That's why I thought you weren't gonna like season 3. Actually,
I can't remember her name. But
Robin?
no. Robin was the best part of the season, but Robin was pops.
Yeah.
Loved her. No. Billy's sister, the redhead. I can't remember her name in the show. It is
Max.
Mad Max. I don't know why I can remember that. Yeah, she's one of the weaker links, I think, in terms of the acting, and
Wow, beating up on a child.
If I could, that's all I've dreamed about is beating on children. I just think about it.
You have some.
I don't. What? Maybe one time.
Right now.
Maybe one
Your
time.
Daughter? We don't have a daughter. Oh, you mean maybe? Yeah, sorry.
Maybe.
I'm contractually obligated to make 2 or 3 Arrested Development references during our TV episodes. So.
During in every episode. But yeah. Billy, actually, I liked Billy in this season because he wasn't Billy. There was a purpose. There was a purpose to that, and that was actually super interesting because he wasn't what he was like in the second season really at all. I don't buy the I guess I have a real hard time with the Max. He dies and everybody's like, oh, he was a dick all the time. Like a huge dick. There is at no point do we ever see him even really remotely nice to Max. Yes. And we're supposed to then, like, that's where it failed, is that we were never given a moment to go, at one point he was good to her. We never know that. And that, like, to me, I mean, I get it.
Good to anybody or good period. Yeah. From the outside looking in, from the characters looking at Billy, yes.
Yes.
I think the show itself does enough work to turn us around on him. With 11 getting to see why he is like he is and going inside of his mind and like I bought that stuff. Like I bought his turnaround for that reason, but you're right. I don't think like we're expected, I think we're to use some of that with the rest and be like, oh, it makes sense to us, but you're right. If we were just the characters in that show looking at him, it would be like, yeah, like what?
Well, even with like at the end of it, when I watched it, I still thought like, yeah, I understand that you had this happen to you and that's made you a dickhead. Okay. I mean that doesn't excuse anything, like, at all. It gives us reasoning for why he's a dick. Okay, so you're a dick because your dad was a drunk ass that beat you. I hear that, I understand that concept. But you're still doing the same shit to your sister. You're still treating everybody like garbage. And then on top of that, I am fairly certain they were giving him racist undertones because he was real specific about her not spending time.
Are you kidding?
And
undertones? She wasn't allowed to hang out with
Mike and not Mike.
No.
Mike, Mike is the only kid's name I can remember in 11.
Mark Proch.
Yes. They kept saying, "Don't hang out with that weird energy vampire. He's a dingus."
I'm looking it up here.
Look it up. I need to know.
Caleb McLaughlin as Lucas Sinclair.
Lucas, yes. And again, that's yet another reason. Like, okay, so your drunk dad beats you, which makes you a dick, but that made you racist too? Sorry, man. I don't care.
No, yeah. I mean, we're equating. Yeah, I wouldn't equate all of that with forgiveness. Like it's not like everything's washed away. Arguably, him giving his life is the
no loss.
What would you call it? The payment? Okay.
He's no martyr. No loss. No mas, no loss, no fuss, no muss.
But it sounds like it wasn't an issue for season 3, though. It sounds like you still like it.
Which, phenomenal. Can't wait. I did. I love season 3, though. It was super fun. I like the big boss fight at the end. That was pretty cool. I admittedly, movies, I'm a sucker for movies with like the behemoth, or TV shows with the behemoth thing where, the camera pulls back and you see the tiny little car and then the gigantic monster. Like, I'm in. I want to see that. Give that to me. And they gave that to me, and it was fun. It was cool. I liked it. Yeah. I really look forward to season 4. However, knowing, like, because they showed the trailer, so we know Hopper's still alive.
Was he in the trailer?
He was in the trailer. He was in the first. He was in the first teaser. I never
questioned that he was coming back, anyways.
Absolutely not. I am going to question the like. Okay, how are you pulling this out of your ass? Because Winona Ryder watched it happen. It's all blown up. Where'd he go?
So, did you stick around for the stinger on season 3 there?
Yeah.
I believe there's some Russians walking down a corridor talking about having the American in custody.
No, I know, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like, I get that the Russians have him, and I understand that in season 4, of course, like, I get that. What I'm saying is, I don't understand how he survives the explosion that she watched him engage in, basically. Because he blows up.
I thought it had something to do with the portal, I guess.
I mean, maybe he went through the portal. That's the only thing. But I thought the portal was gone before he blew it up. Like, he blew it, it explodes, the portal's gone. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like a real hard, like, I feel like that's going to be a 2-sentence explanation, maybe.
Yeah, they're going to go.
It'll take a couple episodes probably on
it. He fell off the side and he fell into, it's going to be the Glenn dumpster thing. That's what's going to be. He slid under the dumpster. All right, Volley, go. Done with this.
Oh, no, I wasn't even expecting it. Hey, here's a quick one that I also know you watched, that it's also been 4 months since both of us have seen it, but I think we might also be contractually obligated to mention it during a TV episode. The final season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Okay, maybe not the entire final season, but certainly the last episode had me in tears at every single scene.
There's a line. I actually had written it down somewhere, and I don't remember where right now, and I don't want to dig for it. But there was a conversation back and forth between Peralta and Holt about his father and fatherhood and being a parent and all that, and killed me. Just killed me. Yeah, amazing, man. That season, it was rough. It was rough my first watch for me. Like, this didn't feel quite right, but it quickly found the groove for me, and then I went back and rewatched, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's great.
See,
okay.
I thought you would have seen John C. McGinley and just been
Johnny C. Immediately. He was so awful in my final season. Come on, man.
He was a bad guy, but so good at it.
He was so good at it. On. I love Johnny. Love Johnny C.
So good in that entire last season. And yeah, just every episode they do. I can't imagine your reluctance would have come from this, but they start that final season with dealing with kind of, I mean, the show's not that old, so I feel like when it began, they could have seen this coming, or maybe when it was an idea in Schuer's, Bible or whatever.
Yes, his uterus.
Didn't have this, but
his uterine Bible.
Kind of the things that policemen have done recently and since that show began, like this comedy takes on systemic issues from the very beginning of this final season. We have people leaving, like Rosa leaves
quits
the force for this reason. Jake is having issues. In fact, Jake's arc is even more amazing because he is the one that's been bought into being a police officer for his entire life.
He's the John McClane thing. Every season is about Die Hard for him.
Nothing's ever been bad about it. And watching him reconcile like all of those feelings with come on. Like, that show is so stinking good.
So good. And the thing is, I have to kind of assume, just because of the way they've talked about stuff, they've talked about, what they're doing. They're aware that they're portraying, like, they're portraying propaganda. They're doing that. They recognize that. And I think that part of them being so good at reconciling that in the show comes from them as actors, I think, having to reconcile that also with where they stand in life. Like that Andy Samberg still has to think about, like, those things come up, like we're reading about these things in life now, and he's portraying those people, so I think there's got to be a little bit of thought there that goes into, I don't know that I want to keep being this character because I'm portraying something that doesn't exist, like, even a little bit. Like, there are no police officers that are good like this because there are no good cops.
Certainly not funny like this.
No, ACAB also.
It's strange because I could see the propaganda thing, and since it is often so funny and light and a comedy, like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody could watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and still appreciate it on just the comedic level. Even realize that it's making a commentary in some spots.
Sure.
Because this isn't completely new. Like, they've been fairly nuanced at times. Especially with Rosa, who at times has also seemed like their least to nuanced character. Like, they've done some of the work. I just don't think it's been necessarily the focus like it was in the final season. And
no. I mean, the only ones I can think of though are the Terry one where he's racially profiled.
And that was good too. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then he's told, that's like, I think it's 3 or 4. And he's told, if you just showed me your badge, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, I don't even remember, like, Rosa's stuff. I mean, they tackled her sexuality, which was.
I was going to say, that's what I was.
Which I mean, super interesting, super well done too. Like the way Rosa, easily my favorite character on the show, like, no doubt. Rosa comes in with, like, love. I love all of them. I do. They're all.
You're right. What about Holt?
Holt's great.
Jake's the easy answer, but
Kevin.
What about?
What about Pimento?
Holy!
You can't. There's just, it's impossible. Yeah. But Rosa is my favorite character.
That show,
Rosa,
is in my top 10. If I don't want to sit down and think about my top 5, but if you take it down to just comedy, it's quite possibly in my top 2, which that's Arrested Development. Brooks still there's
as I would expect. I would expect nothing less. It's definitely, I think, easily top 10, no question. Top 5 probably also. And
I know it's not everybody's thing. Like, I get that it's more of a laser focused type of humor than I think maybe even Arrested Development. That doesn't count as a reference. It's in the same, but I still think it's good, and I like it.
Well, fine, I'll take that. I like it, and I'll give you something back that you like. Still not finished with the first season, but I wanted to talk about this because you love it so much, and I don't know what's taken me so long. But yes, Justified is maybe the greatest cop show of all time. I mean, like, screw Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But I love this show. I can't believe I did. I'm an idiot. I'm just plain dumb. That's all I can say.
What season are you in?
Just the first one. We're still finishing it up.
Oh my
We're still finishing it. Look, when you see the amount of stuff that I have on my plate here, you'll understand why it's not. But I
do understand that. But you thinking it's so good after only the first season, like,
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, man.
I can't wait. And even more so, like, people are losing their minds today. I sent you the like the article that they're doing a new mini on with him. I didn't even read the article. I just saw that they're doing a mini series for Justified again, and that sounds.
I didn't click on the link. I would imagine Elmore Leonard. Is that right?
That is a guy's name.
Yeah, he's got to be involved, right? Like,
his first name is L. It's just the letter L.
L. Leonard.
L Leonard, and then L, and then Moore is his middle name.
Okay.
We're just spitting facts. True hot facts. We don't lie around these parts.
You have about the first season of Justified, or is that just it? You just wanted
No, it's a bit. Boyd is one of the greatest villain, anti-everything characters. Like, wow, you know, you gotta love that guy whose name is
Goggins.
It's a Goggins. He is a Goggins. Walton Goggins. Thank you. Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins, great in everything. Great in if you have not seen Vice Principals, go watch Vice Principals. Vice
I was
Principals.
bummed because I know we're not movie Olympics right now, but he was the bad guy in the Tomb Raider movie, I'm pretty sure. And like I was waiting for it. I feel like it was really close to when Justified wrapped up too, and I'm like, this is it. This is where he's been in lots of stuff, even by that point. But I was like, this is the one. You know, like he's the big bad. Like I'm gonna see him everywhere after this. And then for as much as I feel like me and you kind of like that movie,
I have no problem with that movie even a little bit, actually.
I was expecting more, I guess.
I still want to see another. Anyway. I still want to follow up to it because I liked Alicia Vikander. I thought she was good.
And Animal, complete beast. Yeah.
He is friggin' amazing. I love that guy. I mean, Timothy Oliphant is stupid and sexy, and yeah, the perfect man maybe. So you know, whatever. I'm not saying I'd kiss him on his lips. But I'm not saying
that's not something that's implied. Like nobody has to say that.
No, I don't need to.
Into the room, everybody looks at each other, and it's
like, yeah, it's Tim, and everybody kind of just
it starts getting closer, and that's probably and then he leaves.
Oh my! It's great though. I'm super excited to get into the rest of it and finish up the season. I love the cast on it too. Like everybody is super fun to watch, and I cannot for the life of me remember his name, but the guy who plays the sniper friend is easily
Tim.
the best part of the show, like barring those other two guys, and I love seeing him because he was in Eurotrip and is amazing.
Jacob Pitts.
Tim
Gutterson. Yes.
Pitter.
He has the possibly best line of the entire series, which I won't spoil from you.
You have now told me this twice, and I'm still actively awaiting. I'm looking. I think you said it was second season, so
I don't remember what season, but I feel like you'll know it when you hear it.
I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna use my ears. And then I'm going to laugh.
You got a great life ahead of you, man. That's going to be a lot of fun. Justified's good. I will. If I
life
don't
is good,
this
but it could be better.
No, Justified could not be better.
Oh.
I guess we'll find out when the new one comes out. I will extend to you. I want to say when the series was about to wrap up. I can't remember who tweeted it now, but somebody. It was one of the people involved in making it. They said before you watch the last episode, rewatch the first episode, and I would also highly recommend that.
Okay,
absolutely pays off. So
I love me some payoff.
Yeah,
I also love me some payback.
Oh well, this is oddly appropriate. Then I've got a Law and Order twofer for you.
Ooh.
You ready?
Criminal Intent.
I think I started. No, I haven't started that yet. Actually,
Oh.
I never got into that as much. I don't know why. It's queued. I will at some.
Is it the Christopher Maloney one? That's the only one I want to watch.
The one I'm going to talk about.
I don't know.
Criminal Intent is not the Christopher Maloney.
Christopher Maloney is all I care about.
Okay, Criminal Intent is the. You do care about it because it has freaking Kingpin in it. I forget his name now.
Yes, Wilson Fisk.
It's gonna be the name I forget.
Vinny D'Onofrio.
Yes, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yes, the Law and Order Organized Crime is the newest one, I think, actually. And I think I started talking about it last time, but hadn't finished it.
I do recall this now, yes.
Okay, all right. It's fun seeing, for me, especially a big Law and Order fan, it's fun seeing Law and Order try to reinvent itself from time to time, but also it's fun seeing it not try to do that because I love the original so much.
Yes, that's right. Don't ever reinvent the wheel.
I think organized crime, sorry, is about as close as I've seen to having the best of both worlds. Like, it's got a lot of familiarity about it. Like, if you've seen a Law and Order, you're going to recognize a lot of the tropes and a lot of the beats from time to time also.
Bump, bump.
It's
those beats?
it's the literal sound beats.
Okay, good.
It's playing with some of that pretty darn smartly, but also it is a long form procedural. Like, it deals with a single bad guy for most of the season. It's actually
interesting.
Dylan McDermott plays a mob boss. Actually, he plays a mob boss's son, his father being Chaz Palminteri. So it's also got some pretty darn good people in it that are fun to watch on camera.
Yeah.
Even if they're not there for a whole long time. And I've always liked Stabler. I've always liked Maloney. Like,
I like Maloney. Yeah.
And his character. Yeah. So
sure. I don't know anything about it.
In fact, you started watching Special Victims not too long ago, didn't you?
We did. We watched like 2 episodes or something.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll come
it's not that we didn't like it. Again, it was really like we were looking for something to fill time, and
you found it. Yeah.
It's apparently.
No, they do. Once we got to the end of the season and I could kind of see everything that they had done and what they built up to and what it finished on, like, pretty cool. Nice. I would actually recommend that. I think it's a small investment too. It's not that long. I will warn you when it comes to the music, Law and Order, I want to say treads a line, but probably hops right over it. The line of melodrama, so.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah. The music didn't get the memo, where I think there might be some subtlety to this long form thing that they're trying to do. Like, the music, like nobody
Sam
told
killed him. Oh, Sam killed him.
No,
Sam. And then they're like, Sam.
I would almost prefer that. Instead, every single episode has a long crescendo to a reveal. Like, he'll start talking about something, and it's going to end with, and then he killed the guy, or what are we going to do, or I don't know,
and
whatever
just
it is.
One more thing.
The music starts out quiet, and it gets slowly louder until it's just unignorable. Like, it's every single time. I'm like, I got sick of that within the first 2 episodes, easy. So
I hate it.
Fair warning, but yeah, I would check it out. It's a fun line. Oh, and this was a twofer. So
it was
before you check out this one, check out this Law and Order first. It's older, although newer than I thought it was, actually.
It's older, but newer.
Crime. It might be. Let me get the year on it. Have you heard about it? Law and Order True Crime?
No. I don't think so.
I can only imagine it was, because it's, one of the Law and Order staples has always been ripped from the headlines. So
sure.
I'm kind of amazed that this didn't make it into more seasons, but they did an entire season, long form again, basically with the ripped from the headlines being the focus on the Menendez murders. So
okay, I did hear about that, but I didn't. Yeah. I obviously didn't watch it, but yes, I heard about that happening.
It's good stuff, man. Like, I'm kind of bummed that this didn't turn into more seasons of different, crimes.
Crimes. But one of our anonymous benefactor, hilariously, last year maybe, Christmas, there's a basketball card. I think it's Mark Jackson is the player, and on the card is the Menendez brothers in the background.
Why?
Why are they on the card? Because it's like a basketball card, so he was just playing the game. It was at a live NBA game, and they're in the no, they're just hanging out in the background. They were just like, here's Mark Jackson. He's like, what? They're like, what's up? Hang loose.
I thought somebody chose that as a graphic. They're like, okay, for the layout, I'm thinking the Menendez brothers in the corner with the border. I'm like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't make sense. And then for the border,
they murdered somebody, and they're like, for cool. I don't know.
For the border, they would do shotguns. Like, it's how it works. No? Oh, okay. No, I thought that was going to land. Guess it didn't. What can I do? That's true story, though.
Man, check it out. Like, it's from the point of view of the defense. So it's super interesting, the stuff they go into. Like, I didn't know a lot of the story, so I don't know if you know the story. Maybe it's less interesting.
I do know the story, in fact.
Okay. I just knew that they murdered their parents. I didn't know much beyond that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I won't talk about it anymore. That's not what I meant, but sure, you can continue. Like, I grew up.
I'm frozen.
I grew up with the story. Like, that happened.
Oh, sure.
Like, it happened at a time when we may have been living in California too, and so it was like a big thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's what I remember it from. I just never knew more. Like, this goes into some depth, obviously. Like,
Yeah, no, the whole thing is crazy, but it's cool that this is going. I'm sorry, please.
2017 actually is when it came out. So, like I said, newer than I expected, but better than organized crime, better than. Okay, I won't do that. I won't rank Law and Order series.
The Menendez brothers are better than organized crime. Ryan Miller.
The Law and Order true crime season that deals with the Menendez brothers is pretty cool. It's kind of crazy how even-handed it is with the murderers, with the brothers, and how much they go into with also, in fact, this might be my favorite part, the role of the media, because it's maybe my least favorite thing about stuff like this is that they are prejudged just by, like armchair, like as much as I'm, the armchair lawyer here or whatever, like that aspect of being the guy that sees it on the news and is like, oh, those guys are guilty. I'm like, have no idea. Like how much goes into a trial. And even if you did and you think, oh, well, like how could the defense attorney do this? How could she defend murderers? Like not understanding that, like it's, Law and Order when it's at its best is a masterclass on exactly this stuff. Like especially the last half of those shows, especially the original, like if you don't think that's written by somebody that knows the law inside and out, that knows a courtroom inside and out, like
right.
you're like and this is, a great example of that stuff. So
that's cool.
Law and Order.
That's good. I liked it. The Law and the Order. All right, I'll give you a twofer to make it quick and go. Squid Game. The main reason I don't want to talk too much about it is because I think it's been talked about to death. There's not a lot I'm going to be able to add to that conversation outside of the fact that I think the show was very good.
Okay.
The actor, the main actor, was great. Totally. You kind of fall in love with him as an actor because he is like, the guy is such a, he's just lovable. Like he's the lovable loser. That's what he ostensibly is in the show. And I loved him. I think that there's a pretty great twist with it and how that all falls out at the end. So really enjoyed all of that. I don't know how much I liked the actual ending. And I don't know, there was a twist that I did like a great deal. And I think, but I question whether or not it really was. How do I put this? I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was necessary. Good. And I don't know if it was good. That's the thing. Like, okay. I don't know. I don't know if it was necessary, but I liked it. Like, it was, what it is good. I don't know if it's good, though. You know what I mean? So, but overall, super cool show. Really enjoyed it. I admittedly was hoping for a little more gore. I'm more than anything, I think, disappointed with the gore.
Weird. Imagine that. Yeah, no, that's
and so dovetailing into that.
Well, so I'm glad to hear that it's not all hype. Like you're saying, it's legitimately good. It's not a flash in the pan. And like, okay, all right, that's cool. That's kind of the opinion I haven't got yet because yes, I saw a ton about it. Have not watched it myself, but I haven't heard from anybody that I trust. If it's actually good, so that's good.
Well, trust me, it's good.
Sorry,
it's good. I like.
But yes, it sounded like you had a twofer. I don't want to interrupt that.
You did already, though. So thanks. All right. Well,
if you mention it, it doesn't count.
Oh, damn it! once again, that right there, folks, is an extra point for him. And see, I'm losing.
Oh, wow.
So dovetailing into the I love gore and horror and all that.
Wow, I even ruined a really good segue that you had going.
On Shudder,
I even ruined it twice.
Yes.
Can I do it 3 times? Dang it! I was hoping you would try again. Okay, please continue.
I'm frozen. Shudder has a documentary series called Behind the Monsters, and each episode was it's a deep dive into various horror characters. So they go into Jason and Freddy, Leatherface, Ghostface, and they get into it. They get into where it came from, the writing, the directing, all that cool stuff. The final episode is on Pinhead. Super interesting backstory on, you get a little discussion about from Barker himself. There's some old video footage that I hadn't seen before, which was really cool. It's a great documentary series, and I truly can't recommend it enough. If you have any interest in horror movies, how movies are made, or any of the backstory on those things, go check this out. It's kind of like, that the Netflix has that show, the movies that made us. This is a better version of that. I was
gonna make a joke about, like, is it, because I would imagine although there are literally some horror movie episodes of
the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street ones are there's an equivalent amount of information of, like, kind of, but the one on Shudder is just so much more robust, and I also feel like it's coming more from a perspective of not just like the retro, I love this thing because it's part of my history, it's got that legacy to it. There's a word I'm looking for, and I'm obviously not finding it. Can you edit me now?
Format. Yes, no, you're edited. You're
okay,
already
great.
edited.
Yeah.
We've been pretty open about the format of the movies that made us being incredibly grating. Like it's a comedy. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and these are like truly well done pieces of documentary that are and they're done with care and love for the characters and for the people involved. Like the entire Hellraiser episode is like Doug Bradley talking about Pinhead and what makes him Pinhead and how he pins his head. Yeah, it's great. I loved it. Yeah, so Behind the Monsters.
Cool.
Yeah, Behind the Monsters. Volley to you, my sir.
Okay. Sorry, I'm bad. Shouldn't have made you say it out loud. It's strategy, but it's like playing dirty. It's not really.
You're not.
Hey, speaking of segues.
Oh, hey, real quick. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because I just thought we got a question from somebody who asked. Yeah,
I had the chat open. Why is it?
It came through Patreon.
And
that popped up on my phone while I was looking down. So the question was about how I feel regarding other South Korean horror. Korean horror in general is amazing. Old Boy is fantastic. Train to Busan was great. A Tale of Two Sisters, phenomenal movie. The Wailing is on Shudder and horrifying in every way. Yeah, no. So Korean horror in general is, I think, super interesting. Asian horror, even. Yeah, I mean, going all across Japan and China for horror films is, you get some of the most interesting, unique stuff, and I love it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of it. So yeah, South Korean horror. I can't recommend Train to Busan enough if you haven't seen that. If you're sick of zombie movies, watch Train to Busan. It's amazing, fantastic movie.
I'm not like entirely sick of zombie movies, and I still feel like watching it.
You should. Yeah, if you're not, watch it.
The Host queued up for some time.
You've had what? Which one?
The Host queued up for some time.
I love The Host. The Host. Okay. Now, here's what I'll say about the host, and this is one of those things where you just have to accept it going in. You have to know that in Korean movies, when it comes to monster movies, I feel like there's no screwing around. They're just like, bam, there's the monster, and the host, they show it. Like, you're gonna see the monster right away. And there are moments when it looks pretty good, but you definitely will notice that it's CGI. It's impossible to not notice. But
I'm kind of fine knowing who that it's Bong Joon-ho. Like, I
it's
feel like if anybody's gonna handle that, it's him. You know, like
it is something that the first time I watched it, like it's got a fine budget. This is not a, like, I don't know that anything could have changed what it looked like. So once you kind of can just recognize that, okay, you get what they're doing, and it works and it looks good for the most part, that freaking movie is amazing. Love it.
cool.
Yeah, it's a
I'm feeling I'll be happy with it.
you will be real happy. You're going to be real happy with that. Like, it is, I mean, it's so good. And it came out, and I feel like got a lot of comparisons to Cloverfield because it was a more grounded story. The monster isn't, the size of Cloverfield even. It's smaller. But I feel like it kind of got compared to that wrongly, and maybe even got, didn't get
2006, so it's probably a contemporary. So.
Yeah, I feel like they came out super close, but maybe I don't know.
Right.
But it's a great movie.
The horror / Korean horror segue to the tiny little. Okay, this is a tiny little Netflix docu-series, I guess, that I thought might be one of those things that I watched and just never talked about. I feel like we all have some of those things.
Hundreds of them. Hundreds.
Especially when it comes to Netflix, and especially when it comes to kind of true crime documentaries. Like, they're a dime a dozen.
Yes.
There's a podcast craze going on about these. I don't know if you're married to a middle-aged girl at all, but
no, I'm married to a middle-aged woman.
Fair enough. I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I hope
edit
so.
me out now?
I'm done.
Thank you.
Oh.
Wait.
Hold
called
on.
Catching Killers. No, should I? What?
No, nothing. Never mind.
It's called Catching Killers. Have you watched it?
I actually think I have not watched it. I think Beth did, which means I watched it by osmosis.
Okay. Aside from me being completely right, then just
obviously
go wrong.
I don't. I'm trying to figure out how to knock points from you, but I can't.
One of the reasons I thought I wouldn't talk about it is because oftentimes I do watch things like this, and I'm turned off by either the sensationalism or even just the craft, especially since kind of the Earl Morris school of documentary filmmaking has become so prevalent that I think there are degrees to which it can be done well or not. I think the craft is on point here, but also I think they're very careful not to sensationalize. They try at the very worst to have their cake and eat it too, because they do share a lot of news footage from the times of the killings, which is, of course, and this is news footage from murders that happened in the 80s and 90s. So, of course, the local news coverage of it is absolutely horrid and sensational.
Yeah.
Like it's
good.
Nauseating.
Oh.
So they might be trying to have their cake and eat it too with some of that, but I think when they're not, and it's not overused, so I guess whatever. When they are themselves interviewing the detectives behind the thing or showing footage of the actual killer or whatever, like everything else is pretty darn measured and actually fairly introspective. Like, the other thing I feel like documentaries like this will do is edit out a lot of the human aspects. And I know it doesn't always seem like it, but if very rarely do I feel like you'll see an interviewee that gets choked up kind of all the way through the thing.
Sure.
And maybe that's all the footage they had to deal with. In fact, I want to say there might only be 2 murders in this whole thing, because there might be 3 episodes and the last 2 deal with the same murder. But the first episode, at least, maybe the second, The detectives are pretty darn broken up about the thing, and they have some pretty pointed dialogue that speaks in the other direction. It's like, listen, like dead bodies aren't a thing, like, whereas everything else would be like the dead body or and that,
Yes, yes.
that'll be the exclamation point or something. Like these guys are like, it's nothing you'll ever forget. They speak very openly and very introspectively about stuff like that. That gives it some weight that I'm very thankful for, especially. And it's weird to think about, for me anyways, because I feel like there are so many of these now that it can go one way or the other. Like there are so many that maybe people are given more leeway to create something a little bit better, but also there's so many of them that they can kind of crap them out too. So I feel like, two-edged sword there as well. But
So it's
this one I would recommend.
It's
cool.
super funny that you mentioned that, and I know that I know this is television volleyball, but I'm going to tell you about this anyways.
Okay.
There's a documentary on Hulu that is about the amazing Jonathan, and I don't remember.
It's been queued for so long.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What am I doing with my life?
Here's the best part about that documentary. It starts off with our documentarian documenting Jonathan after receiving. He was going to die after like a year. Like he was given a death sentence, basically.
I didn't know.
And then 4 years later, he's still alive. And the documentary kind of picks up at that point with.
That's why he's amazing.
So
Jonathan.
So this is when it gets a little weird though. So the documentary starts with him, and then Jonathan says, "Oh, I got a call from these guys who want to make a documentary about me." And he's telling the documentarian, and he's saying, these are the guys that made Searching for Sugar Man and Man on Wire. It's Simon Chin, like it's the Oscar winner. And so I'm going to let them do their documentary. And then, so this guy's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm still going to be able to do, and Jonathan's like, yeah, no, we're going to keep doing this. But I think when release comes up, you should come after them because they're, ride their coattails type thing. And then we find out there's another documentary beyond this other documentary. That's 3. I think there ends up being 4 in total.
Jeez.
And the ending, which I will not give away, is actually pretty phenomenal. It's a super interesting, but it's so funny that you mentioned it because like the amount of documentaries in this documentary becomes about the documentarian trying to figure out how to make the documentary. It's actually a pretty cool story.
I love that. I would. I wish I could tell you that Catching Killers did something similar. It doesn't. Like that, you get to see the documentarians a little bit. Like they insert themselves, never in a way that is questionable. But like I said, I think the craft is on point. Like where they decide to show themselves and not is pretty good. Like it's a well-made series. It doesn't get sensationalistic, and the stories are interesting. Like it's pretty interesting. So
yeah, I feel like Beth watched that. So
I feel like Candy probably watched it too, and I don't even know. So
how many more do you have?
How many more do I have? I have one that I know you have, and that's it.
You got one more? Okay. All right.
One more, yeah.
All right. Well,
this is where we even things out.
Looks
and it
like
goes to you, and you like you.
Yeah. Looks like I got at least one more than you this time. So we'll see how the scoring goes. But I may
doesn't
actually
necessarily mean you've won.
No, because I may lose points for this. So spoilers abound here, people, for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh.
Because all of the Daredevil talk and the fact that the confirmation happens, right?
I mean, you're not spoiling anything. Like his cameo shows up in the first 15 minutes,
which is
of Spider-Man No Way Home, and it lasts less than a minute.
Yeah, which is great. It's perfect, but it got me back on the rewatching Daredevil train. So I went through Daredevils 1 through 3 and love it, of course. But I finally I did my first rewatch of The Defenders, and I'm not gonna lie, I liked that show. I think.
I swear I just saw you tweet something that it's bad.
No, that was Petal. Petal thinks the show is bad.
Adam.
Yes.
Adam
Adam from Canada, who he's probably asleep right now like a baby.
It's the same time that it is here. In fact, it's earlier than it is where.
Yeah,
here, but
I'm late and I'm awake. But I actually really enjoyed the season for almost all of it. You know, like I can understand why some people were disappointed, but for a first season on that show, all it did was solidify all of those people as those characters, with the exception of Finn Jones, Iron Fist, who I actually, again, first season, not great. Second season, significantly better.
I mean, 2 seasons?
Yeah. The second season's like super good and ends in a great way, and then we get boned.
Hold on,
shut up, Adam.
in the chat.
Shut up.
Adam in the chat.
Look, Adam doesn't know anything. It's a horrible
because
show.
It is a horrible show.
It's not a horrible show. It was fun. I like that show. I think oddly enough, I think the weakest part of that show was Sigourney Weaver, who.
Is she in that?
She is. She's in a number of multiple seasons.
The girl from Avatar. That's crazy.
That's right. Yeah, the girl from Avatar. She was the blue. She was the blue one, and she had a college T-shirt on. So, Defenders though, I liked it.
Well, why? So I don't hear much about it. Maybe I did know
because it's very
that it hasn't been received positively.
It's just
why would you say
it's very middling. It's just a very middling story and show, and that's it. And I liked it just fine.
No doubt. But so my question was going to be, what did you like? Like, what was
I didn't really have a problem with it the first time I watched it. It was more that I was just kind of in and out with it because it just didn't hold my attention. I didn't give it attention. So I actually watched it this time. I guess that's part of it. But yeah, no, like Matt's stuff. The whole season, the whole show basically is a Matt story with Elektra being resurrected after being killed in the second season of Daredevil, and so it's a whole, like, a lot of, they were finishing up the story of the Hand with this. They kind of ended the Hand in terms of I couldn't really see the Hand coming back for anything after that if they were going to continue doing the show. I really like Jessica. I thought it was great. We get some great moments of back and forth between all of them. There's one episode that kind of bleeds into 2 where they're in a restaurant eating and conversing, and then a big fight breaks out in the next episode and it's cool. Like, I had a ton of fun with it. I get that it's not for everybody, but ostensibly I only have this much Charlie Cox Daredevil right now. I only have this much Daredevil Cox, and I need more.
He's showing like some fingers that are very close together.
We're live. This is visual. It's a visual medium for once. You don't need to explain it.
No, I never will.
It doesn't matter that it's going to be audio.
Do you think I should watch the Defenders?
Probably not, but
okay, just checking.
But if you want to see, again, if you like the people that played those characters, yeah, watch the show.
That might have something to do with it. I mean, I kind of love Kristen Ritter.
Loved her.
Whatever. Even though I haven't seen Jessica Jones, but also I'm not crazy about Daredevil.
I love Charlie Cox. I thought he was great. So he is very much so the Daredevil that I wanted.
I'm extremely open to liking him in the MCU, since it looks like that's where he's going somewhere sometime.
And they're
if you want to make a Daredevil movie with him, great, fine. I think.
Well, so here's what I think. Here's what I think is going to happen, and this is who knows, but here's what I think is going to happen. Watching Hawkeye, I won't. They've already announced that Echo is going to get her own show, and so she shows up in Hawkeye. So we're introduced to Echo.
Ooh.
I think that the Echo show is going to be a way to backdoor the Murdoch Daredevil into continuity for MCU beyond Spider-Man and him showing up as a lawyer, because
makes sense. That's where Echo comes from, is the Daredevil books.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So that's my thought, is that's where he's going to come back. I hope that they will bring back Karen Page and Foggy, because I loved both of them as those characters. They were great. Eldon Henson and
Yeah, I loved Foggy. Karen.
Karen, Karen, the first season I had a hard time with, and then something switched for me, and I just fell in love with her. Like, she's just great. Love her.
And we need not maybe relitigate our Daredevil differences. I feel like we've gotten into that at least 2 times before. But
I like that you called it relitigating too, because he's a lawyer.
Yeah. Law and Order.
We're lawyers.
Oh, hey, right. Look at that.
And Law and Order.
Hey,
yeah. All right.
They want to put Charlie Cox in a Law and Order episode
as Daredevil.
We're done.
We're done. Daredevil. He's going to beat up Christopher Maloney.
Well, now I don't know if I would like that, but
too bad. Christopher Maloney is going to bring a talking can of beans, though. So there's a little balance.
Oh boy. I feel like you had more than just this final one that I think we have together.
I have one more. that is going to be
one
beyond. I have one more beyond whatever you're going to talk about.
You think so? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe you weren't planning on talking about this. Adam, if you're still in the chat, you might want to plug your ears for this one as well, because I finally finished one of the shows that I blasted through 4 episodes today, I think, to finish season 2 of, and I know this is going to go on for a bit, Stargirl. So it begins now. The love-in begins now.
Let's start quickly with...
This wasn't going to be the last one you talk about?
Nope. Let's start quickly with Breck Passenger.
Okay.
She's great. And she brings so much to that character, and when she's when she has to play the down moments, she does a good job. But God, like, she freaking nails the best parts of that character when she is at her best. And that is what really I love it so much. I love her in that role. She is so good. Love it.
Breath
I love
of fresh
her.
Air.
She is, totally.
So we're going to spoil a lot of this. We've been spoiling, but just so we can get into it, because I might have the most notes for this than anything. I would start with the things that I don't like about it, because those would be the least amount of things. I don't know if I have any.
Oh, really? I really...
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say, outside of, I think Mike got growth this season. I think he was much better this season. But
you can start there, yeah, because I didn't like his character in season 1. It was maybe one of the bad things I said about that.
Yeah.
But he grows. It's either a combination of him growing into the character or them changing the character just enough that I jive with it a little bit better. I don't know which, but I didn't mind him at all. Like, I kind of wanted to, because you were like, dude, you're not going to like him in this season either. So I was kind of expecting to, and I saw him in the first episode, and I'm like, it's not necessarily going anywhere. But then the more it went, I want to say by the 3rd episode, I was like, nope. Like, he's grown into it. Like, they're giving him something to do. I like what he's doing.
I love him with the Thunderbolt. Like that was...
Yeah, I wanted him to be the Thunderbolt. But even then, I was still happy with what they did with it.
I was so happy. I agree. I wanted him, and I was happy that they went the direction they did, partially because, there's this stupid, it's comic book accurate, but also because
that was an impression of either of us at one point or the other, by the way. That was...
I would never do that. How dare you? I'm muting you from here on out. So, but I also love that growth for him, like that the things that he puts into that, and then when he has that moment when he loses the Thunderbolt, like, it was heartbreaking, because I know I did that as a kid. Like, I did something and I lost a thing or whatever it was, and I knew I shouldn't have, and I knew I did. You know what? I don't know how else to explain it. You know, it's like I was given something that was important, and I lost it, and I lost it because of my own stupidity, and I love that he had to learn a lesson in. He had to learn a lesson about what he's thinking, what to say, and what to do, and how to. I'm just stumbling right now. I know what I'm trying to say, and I'm losing it. But yeah, he has it's a growth moment for him, and I really loved it, and I identified deeply with that sense of he finally felt like he belonged because he had a power, and then he loses it because of his own, like, it just not he's not thinking, and that's
he's still learning, like, and he wants it so bad that it's slipping through his fingers.
Yes,
type of thing, you know, like
totally. And so when he says, "I wish that this was in the hands of somebody more appealing or better or whatever," it's a moment that I think everybody has, and especially kids, of like, well, you know, maybe somebody's better at this, or somebody's more suited than this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and somebody else should be.
But that's also why he's susceptible to Eclipso at the beginning, is because he is having these self-worth issues. Yeah. Totally agree. Like, I'm into Mike. Didn't have a problem with him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Also didn't have a problem with the whole 50s aspect of it. Still really working for that. Like the bright colors, the primary colors, the
love
whole,
it.
Like diners and all that. Like,
drive-ins and dives.
the Guy Fieri-ness of it all.
The Guy
really
Fieri-ness.
Chef's kiss, you could say. Oh yeah, in fact, I have it in my notes. Dang, you're right. Mike is tolerable. and that was before I came to like him. Maybe I'm reaching. I think Amy Smart could be given more. Like, this is a backhanded compliment at best. Maybe that's what I can do. I like Amy Smart. This is maybe my favorite role of hers ever, and I don't feel like they had really a thing for her necessarily this season.
It's without Icicle, without her having the direct connection to Icicle. Yeah, it was. But
and they maybe try and do that with the Shade. You know, she's kind of.
I did like that.
Like the Shade's sister, and I loved it. Are you kidding? But it happens in like maybe 2 episodes. Like, it's not a lot. It feels like there could have been more. But yeah, speaking of the Shade, then Jonathan Cake.
That dude, so good, man. I fell in love with him. Loved him.
He's so good, man. And the whole backstory they give him, his because he's a villain at the beginning, kind of. You know, he's part of the ISA. But he never really wanted to be, or he's more of a scamp and a scoundrel or whatever it was. But then they share about how he became the Shed. And I don't really know if any of this is comic accurate, but yes, that character,
super cool.
That actor, like, also really, really enjoyable.
I was very happy with his ending, with the ending, and then the follow up to it was beautiful.
We're gonna spoil.
Yeah,
I kind of knew he wasn't dead.
No,
like,
of course.
I mean, also, I kind of knew Cindy wasn't dead. You know, like, when there's no bloody body, I'm like, oh, she's not dead yet. And then sure enough, you know, like,
it's.
But also the episode where Stargirl gets sucked in as well, and they got to fight their way out. Like,
that was such a cool idea and executed so well. I loved that we got more backstory also on the JSA. We got a whole bunch more of
so much JSA, the original JSA. Yeah,
we got a bunch more Mikhail, and you know, I do remember thinking, okay, you know, we only got a tiny bit of Mikhail as Starman in season 1, and it was all right. It's Joel McHale. We'll see what happens. Dude, totally. I totally love him, and I feel like I get him as Starman, and
not really playing a sarcastic character at all.
No, he's actually playing somebody who's kind of genuine, like, or earnest, I should say. Maybe not genuine, but earnest. And I really, and I love that they did announce he's season regular for season 3.
I would hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
the season leads off with him promising to train Courtney, which I like for a show that takes its time with just about everything. You know, like the first season they were smart enough about getting the team together, and you still got some cool team shots, and it did end in a pretty cool team battle. For breaking that up again-ish at the start of this season and kind of doing it again, but also, you know, like
Man.
working with that training and
Dude.
Pat kind of becoming a better leader, you know, like graduating into more than just a sidekick or a scared stepdad, or like the balance they work out between all that stuff this is the thing.
Okay, tell me what the thing is, though.
Oh yeah, remember whatever you got in your head right now. It's so unlike any Berlanti thing ever. Like when I say Berlanti thing, you know, like think about the
Flash and yeah.
Arrowverse kind of type stuff.
Yeah.
This is so measured and deliberate. Like by the end of the second season, not everybody on the cast is a superhero. You know, like I can only imagine that Berlanti is somewhere. Like I don't know what the dynamic will be between Berlanti and Jeff Johns, but I can only imagine Berlanti's like, maybe, do you want Flash? Like, what if we put like I can bring in Flash? And Jeff Johns says something like, "No, I think we're fine. We'll take John Wesley's ship," and he gets to come back as Jay. And I'm like,
love it.
It's all just perfect. I'm like, this is so unlike. Even when it starts to get into kind of because me and my wife always call it getting CW'd, is when, you know,
it
we're
happens.
having fun with the show, but then we got to deal with the relationship stuff for, you know, 20 minutes or whatever the requisite amount of time is. Even when I feel like we're about to get CW'd by Stargirl, it actually means something. It's not just about dating a boy at school. It's about having murdered someone, you know, like Yolanda murders someone.
Amazing.
Breather. Like you don't see her for gosh darn maybe most of the season.
She has the roughest part of the season. But for everybody, she has the hardest season here. And boy, oh boy, does that girl nail it too, man. Like they did a great job with the story, giving her all of that baggage that comes with potentially taking a life. And
it wraps up pretty quick. Like there was a moment, because also there's a moment where she says, "I'm not putting that costume back on. It's the costume of a murderer." And I'm like, she's got a freaking point. Like I almost felt like I would have liked if they found a way around that. Like I don't know, a different costume or what it was, but by the end she's kind of over it and she's back in the costume. But yeah, there was a point where I'm like, this does the thing that any amazing piece of media does for me, is there is a point where I'm just like, I don't know how they got out of this. I have no idea what they're going to do. Like I might know some of the things, like I know the Shade's not dead, I know Cindy's not dead, but
sure.
I have no idea how they come back in general. I forget what episode it is, but Rick smashes the hourglass, you know?
And then he had to put it back together again. That was
which I was scared for a bit, because I was like, I don't buy. Cause it's funny because his arc was that, you know, he does really good on a test and the teacher's like, "You cheated," and I'm like, "No, he didn't. You know, like stop treating him like that." And then by the end of the series, he breaks the hourglass and then he's like trying to put it together, and I'm like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "Oh no, like I'm
wait,
I'm just like his teacher. I'm horrible." But no, I didn't quite buy that he would be able to put it back together. But then he doesn't. Like he shows up in his costume, powers or not. And one of my other favorite parts of the series is that he's developed this relationship with Grundy. And Grundy goes to bat for him. So
I loved that was another thing, the you know, the befriending the wild animal thing, and super great, man. Super interesting.
Even though like the effects in this show are also very good. Every single thing except Grundy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he has to be like a big thing that interacts with so much, you know, like he's a big presence, but just everything looks so good. Like the
you know,
when the tear interacts and the diamond and Eclipso.
I wish they would just call James Gunn and say, "Hey, James Gunn, can we borrow your tech for King Shark?" Thanks, James Gunn.
Good comparison, because Grundy here looks like King Shark from Flash instead of King Shark from Suicide Squad.
Yes. It's true. And the thing that I was holding on to that whole time was actually about Our Man, and I loved that the backstory there, where we get more of him with his stepdad or father that's obviously a drunk abuser, and then
Uncle.
That's right.
I thought it was father the whole time too, but
that's
obviously
right.
not, because Power Man was his father. Yeah, so I figured, yes, very late.
But I love that was also some great moments with Pat going back and forth with the uncle and everything. Loved that, man. Loved it. And then,
yeah, Pat gets to show some teeth. Like I said, I like his arc where he's also coming into his own as a leader and a stepfather, and also as a torturer, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I
don't know. I like it.
I mean, it all fits into the general, like when it came to Eclipso, which this is great, thinking of eclipses and the whole series plays with light and dark. And by the end, we get a few pointed pieces of dialogue, but the one from Pat, as he's, about ready to extract some information or whatever, is as he's going through the room and turning off all the lights and closing the blinds, he's like, I got a little bad in me too, and by the end, that's right. It. Everybody has a little bad and a little good in them,
Yes.
So.
No, and I loved, absolutely loved that they, number one, practical affected makeup for Eclipso, and two, that they basically went comic accurate with it. They were like, screw it, give him the stupid hat, make him look like the little creature from Cat's Eye. If you don't remember Stephen King's Cat's Eye, you should definitely watch that. Oh, okay. You should watch it. At the end, Drew Barrymore is a young child. She's sleeping in her bed, and she has a cat. And there's this whole thing that cats suck the breath out of children. But she also has this tiny little goblin dude that is living in her room and trying to kill her and take her breath. And it's great. Drew Barrymore.
I want to edit it to take your breath away, but I
guess take my breath away.
I'll wait. Yeah. Eclipso, just in general. Yeah, I totally agree.
Super cool.
Down with all of his design, and also there was a moment where I did think, why isn't he just killing everybody? They maybe could have explained that he was drawing power or not quite all that powerful enough. He disappears for a while, and he really does toy with everybody more than he kills. He makes hallucinations, and it's fantastic for all the character growth they do. Beth's episode, oh man, might be my favorite. Just everything that he puts her through with
again, that's a super stark, they're not even there's nothing being hidden here. This is a wide open, we're straight up talking. We're calling out the racists that complained about Beth being a black person, and then
that's right. Yeah, and then his dialogue is you're not the right gender, you're not even the right color.
Right.
For Midnight. Yeah. But then by the end of that, how she's
and oh my God,
being black, and I am Dr. Midnight. Yeah.
Not only that, but then when she becomes, at the end of the season, she officially takes the mantle, and we get all of that moment, all the time with the original Dr. Midnight, who was super cool.
Totally loved him too.
Loved him.
Yeah, whoever they got, I didn't
love
look
that
up the
guy.
actor's name on that one, but yeah,
he
did great. He takes, and the best thing about him is he does take the back seat to Beth. He's
100%.
Yeah, when he shows up, there, forget. Somebody says something, and he's like, "You already have a Dr. Midnight. What are you talking about? Beth is Dr. Midnight," and that's before he gives her all the stuff, because it turns out his wife is still alive, and he has a 10-year-old son he's never met, etc.
As you do when time happens.
Yeah, man.
Stargirl, amazing.
Hard to think of something I didn't like about that second season. We haven't even talked about Green Lantern. I love what they did with.
That's right.
Jenny and her whole character. She's maybe in the stuff the least, but I love that her Green Lantern powers are literally the Alan Scott powers, basically. Yeah, she's dealing with like fire and flames and stuff like that.
Yeah,
not the housing stuff or anything.
instead of the constructs of will and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I loved it.
That
It's also, they've this is now the second thing that they've second straight up Green Lantern CW thing. I can't imagine, because
right.
at the end of Arrow, there's like
That's right.
the thing crashes in front of Diggle's house.
Diggle, right?
And Diggle ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Diggle doesn't
Which is
end
fine. I might watch that first season.
dude,
They
yeah,
wanna make Diggle a return.
I like it. Give him the Jon Stewart story. That's that. Done. I'm in. But they're gonna do there's an HBO Max. There's an HBO Max Green Lantern show coming. So we're getting that.
Huh.
It's focusing on other, like, not. So Guy Gardner, I think, is the main. They're going with the wise ass, which is interesting. Yeah.
Huh. I wouldn't be surprised if that Diggle Lantern takes a back seat then. That might have been a Hail Mary by Berlanti when he still held most of the reins, and I don't feel like they're all of his anymore.
I feel like some of those, like, Flash has got to be coming to an end soon, I feel like. And
I thought that's the other thing, is I've fallen so far off.
And Legends, they can keep going with forever because it's just such a goofy, weird show, and I love everything about it. But like the main line, like Flash, I don't know. Although Naomi comes out this week, and I haven't watched it yet, and I really, really want to.
Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi is Brian Michael Bendis character. The show is being produced by Ava DuVernay. Yes, she's so in the comics right now, Naomi's like an uber power. She's stupid strong, like wicked strong, and she's a nerdy, like, Superman loving kid that has no idea she's an alien. Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Probably. That's all I got. That's my Stargirl. Were you just not going to talk about that, or are you just, your strategy is
until I couldn't talk about it until you brought it up, man, because I can't. I needed the whole.
That's true. You would have no idea that I had finished the season.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The last thing I'm going to talk about is, and I held this off because, oh man, this is my favorite show on TV right now. I know what it is.
Do
you? What is it? What is it?
Yellow Jackets.
It's Yellow Jackets, man. That holy crap. So longtime viewers will know that I have a love crush everything with Melanie Lynskey. In particular, I don't feel at home in this world anymore. Still streaming on Netflix. Love that movie. She's amazing in it. I love Melanie Lynskey. Have ever since God boy. The Peter Jackson one that she was in with Kate Winslet. It's called Heavenly Creatures. That's it.
It's her first credit in 94.
Yeah. No. And I love her. So Yellow Jackets.
If you don't recognize her name, you would probably recognize her, like, just looking at her credits. The Frighteners.
Yeah.
Detroit Rock City.
That's right.
Coyote Ugly.
That's right.
Yeah. She's also been doing it for a bit. Sweet Home Alabama. I would imagine she played her fair share of quirky friends.
Yeah.
Maybe movies like
she's
that.
She's great. I love her. So Yellow Jackets got Melanie Lynskey, Christina Ricci, phenomenal. Both of them. So the show is. I heard somebody mention it was a cross between. I'm trying to remember what it was. Something in Lost, and it was like some, like, Degrassi and Lost.
Okay.
So the show,
I've heard Lost mentioned in conjunction with Yellow Jackets more than anything else.
So the show is it's taking place in two different time periods, and we're getting flashbacks to the Yellow Jackets were a school. Basically, you kind of have it starts off with them going on a plane. They're flying to play they're like a volleyball team or something, and the plane crashes in the middle of the woods, and they ended up being rescued. I don't remember now how many months later, but it was like 20 months or something, or 13 months, or it was a while. It's over a year.
So are people just mentioning Lost because it also features a plane crash? Is that all that's...
No, it is
Okay.
very much so breadcrumbing things, because there are you coming back into the future. We are meeting the girls as they're teenagers, but as you know, as adults, and we're learning about who they were during this plane crash that slowly is becoming more violent between the girls, and people are starting to snipe at each other after a certain amount of time because there's only so much food. So what happens when planes crash and there isn't food? Yeah. So we have this whole thing that occurs with them that we're getting breadcrumbs about, but we're also being told that a number of the girls did make it back, but none of them have ever talked about publicly what happened. They have not really given any details. They don't want to talk about it. And so the story is unfolding with an investigators looking into them for some reason. One of the people kills themselves early on in the season, and they're trying to figure out why. And Juliette Lewis and Christina Ricci are talking to Melanie Linsky, and it's phenomenal, man. The every episode is just, the minute it ends, it's one of those shows where I'm like, no, more now, and I don't get that. Unreal.
Oh,
unbelievably
the first
good.
season's not completed yet.
Not done yet.
Oh.
I love
nothing
it.
to say about how far away from a wrap up are you?
I don't know. I think there's 2 or 3 episodes left. I'm not sure how many are fully in the season, actually.
That'll be a good next television volleyball, I'm sure.
I can't wait, man. It's super good. But
so in comparing it to Lost, which I did not watch week to week, so
neither did I.
I liked it probably more than I would have, having overall maybe not liked it.
Yes, I love Lost.
Yeah.
I'm a Lost lover.
Well, so maybe one of the reasons I didn't like Lost is because it felt, a lot of the cliffhanger-ness of it all felt like a cliffhanger for cliffhanger's sake sometimes. I mean, Lost is maybe a bad example because it was, I feel like the greatest criticism you'll get from Lost is that it did just keep going and going. Like, it's obvious they had a beginning and an end, and whatever anybody else says, that was a 2-season show at best. You know, like they just had to, whatever. It sounds like this has more. Like, how would you compare it? Let's put it this way: to the first season of Lost.
Yeah,
Does it feel like
this feels
they
like
have more of a game plan here,
this is a fully fleshed out. I will be utterly surprised if the resolution to this feels tacked on in any way. This clearly has. Let me put it this way: if they don't know what they're doing a damn good job of faking it, because it feels purposeful in all ways. And again, the Lost stuff it's not the science fiction-y, like, it's not like what's in the hatch. It's not remember the numbers. It's not that. It's definitely more along the lines of, it almost feels kind of like an old, like a 40s or 50s kind of movie where, like, I kind of want to go down the noir route with it, but that's way wrong. But it's the breadcrumbs and the going back and forth, and we know that the stuff in the past is going to inform what's going on in the present, but figuring out how all of it goes together, we're not talking about the mystery of the island here, but there's definitely the mystery of, well, what actually happened during the months that they were crashed.
Is there a lot of sci-fi to it?
Not at all. There's none.
Phenomenon? Oh, okay,
no, nothing at all. No. Yeah, this is all very grounded in a certain sense.
So they'll need to fit that all into the final episode, quite possibly a stinger, maybe.
Well,
just,
I think
or whatever you got just up there.
I think
they
that
bring in an island for gosh sakes.
Well,
yeah,
what I think what they're doing is I think they're building to the smoke monster, and that's
there. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait.
Smoky.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Yellow Jackets. I forgot it was coming in a way.
Yeah. Ryan, I hate to say this, but I think we've come to an end. I
thought you were going to say, I think I won. I was going to.
Oh, no, I don't hate to say that. I won. I definitely won. No, this is mine.
Right, okay.
I'm taking the championship.
You had more things to talk about, and one of them was Yellow Jackets. So.
Yeah, and I also watched things that you watched more than you watched things that I watched.
True. That's a plus. Well, let us know what you think. Who won the show? Anybody? This stream will go up as an archive, as they do on YouTube. Like I said, this podcast will go up here within a day or two, and I don't know why I'm telling you that, because it's
TIE Fighter, maybe
right now. But yes. Oh, Raymond Acosta. Good old Ray. How you been,
Hi, Ray. Yeah, it's a TIE Fighter.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
It's a tie, Sweat. It's a TIE Fighter.
I'll take it.
Won't.
Thanks for anybody that did hang out. We're going to do these if everything goes smoothly, and I think it did.
I hope
I didn't
not.
want to commit because I'm a coward, but I feel like minimum twice a month, right? Is that what you're thinking about for these live deals?
Sure, why not? Let's do it. I don't know that they'll all be 2 hours long. They might be.
Do we go? When did we? Oh, you're right. Yeah, we're coming up on 2. Fun.
That was good. This is good.
Who said editing's not good?
You're the fool. You're the one who's like, I gotta edit it. I think I only said shit once. And look, if I say
no, see, I meant edited for length. I didn't mean whatever. Both same. Hey, however you want to save time. I know we have enough movies for a cow volleyball in the queue already, so
I do. I also have I have to go through my movie list because I have to pare that down before cow volleyball, because I've got a few in there that I really am looking forward to writing about for the newsletter this month.
Hey, go check out Patreon if you want that newsletter.
Yeah, it's there. And little chunks of it'll be doled out on the Patreon for free. But if you want the whole shebang, I put a lot of effort into the previous 2. Lots of writing.
Like too much effort, honestly. If you think this will get up with the TVs and the DVDs, is check out the newsletter. It is.
By the way, the DVDs are all mine. I took that picture the other day.
I almost asked because I'm like, there's like a Shazam DVD in there, but it's not the movie that just came out. It's like
it is. There's 3 of them. They're right in a row. It's Shazam: The Adventures of Captain Marvel and Shazam: The TV Show.
Okay, I was going to say it's like the black and white serials though. So
that's The Adventures of Captain Marvel, and then underneath that is the 70s show.
So you definitely want to watch this stream to check that out. Gosh, I guess that might be the end. Go check out the Patreon. Go subscribe wherever podcasts are had. YouTube. We'll be back next week. This is an ad, so you're getting 2 things in a week, and we'll be back for the normal show next week where we're doing
Eternals. Yeah.
I've started reading up on that already.
As have I.
If you're not on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, you can hang out there to see what pages I think are fun to look at.
You always pick them out, man. You find them. Although admittedly, I'm not gonna lie, I died when I saw that one picture from Shang-Chi that I posted and said it's me and you. It was too perfect, but you're doing a good job finding those.
You know how to pick them too. Then it's fine. To be fair, a lot of the Eternal stuff is going to be from Jack Kirby, so it's like throw a dart
and look at the weird,
and you'll get a good one. So come back for any of that. Good luck. Goodbye. I waved.
Bye.
For podcast people, I did a wave, and then I said goodbye. You have the kill button. I'll just sit here.
I know I do.
Okay. Start looking at my phone.
No, we won't.